everybody, from Common Room Radio. I'm Sarah Kate Bazant, and they said that the age of heroes would never come again.
I'm Alistair Stevens, and I'm not here to make super friends.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I kind of am.
Guys! I heard that you were, hold on a second. I heard that you were talking about the SDCC trailers, and I rushed back from California for my vacation to join you just for this. Somebody give me a beer! It's been a long few weeks.
Committing to the bit. I applaud it.
That was very good. Welcome back, Vincent. How was your vacation?
It was great.
That's great. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, this week we are doing our SDCC trailer Comic-Con super spectacular extravaganza palooza episode. We have a playlist that Alistair has put together for us. We're going to have that link in the show notes. I think that this is going to be kind of a commentary show. We are just going straight through this entire list of all of these trailers, and we're going to be talking over them and talking about them. And I think it's going to be really good, and I'm really excited.
We have 21 trailers all lined up for you, and you can watch them along with us. Just click the link in the show notes, or if you don't have access to the show notes for some reason, head on over to youtube.com/commonroomradio and check out the playlist there. The Excelsior SDCC Trailers 2017 playlist. This is going to be really fun, you guys. There were a lot of good trailers, and I should say we're talking about 21 of them. That is less than half of all the trailers released at SDCC this year.
A lot of trailers.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a count that was 47. You saw one that was 51. So there's a lot we won't be talking about.
Before we get started, Vinton, which trailer are you most excited in or by?
I am most excited about Thor.
Yeah.
I think Thor takes it for all of us.
I think so too.
The teaser trailer got me there. And that was over Spider-Man, and no one knew that was ever going to happen. So
Right.
I'm still there. This trailer gets me again. So,
All right, let's get started then with the first trailer. We're going to click play all in 3, 2, 1, play. And we're going to start with the teaser trailer. This is barely a trailer at all for the upcoming sci-fi series Krypton. This is set 2 generations before Krypton is destroyed and Kal-El comes to Earth. Spoilers, I guess. Are we excited by a new series based on Krypton before Krypton is destroyed?
No, I don't care. I'm not sure what we're doing here. We just watched the whole thing. There was some blood. There was a planet. I don't even know. Is it going to be good? Who knows? There's no telling.
Who can say for sure?
I don't know. I like Superman okay. I'm not a huge fan of Superman. I definitely don't care that much about all of his origins that don't really have anything to do with him.
I'm really distracted. Is this a Game of Thrones trailer that's playing in the background? Okay, I don't care about Game of Thrones, but I got really distracted by that.
These play. Okay, trailer 2, Marvel's Inhumans. This is the second trailer. We were a little... Oh, this trailer brought to you by IMAX, by the way, because Marvel's co-branding deal with IMAX just is maybe the worst thing in the world. I don't know.
It's really weird.
But this is interesting. It's not terribly different from the first trailer, honestly. No. But I do think it's a little better.
That's Monty from the 100, which we'll talk about here in a few trailers.
That in just a little bit, yeah.
I'm still really excited about Lockjaw, maybe even more excited about Lockjaw.
That's the dog,
I think
right?
I could be more excited. Yes, the dog is amazing. I'm very excited about the dog. I'm really disappointed in Medusa. She's a little bit better here in this trailer, but still not great.
She's
Her hair
not there
is
yet.
not good.
Yeah, she's just not there.
I really hope that this is just like early looks and they're really going to kick up that CGI and really make her hair beautiful. But I'm really about the rest of it.
The hair does not look good is the problem. Like it looks, I mean, we've seen a lot of our ladies throughout all of the MCU, like in various wigs. I mean, I think that even Elizabeth Olsen is wearing a wig in Civil War. But I mean, like this is one of the worst wigs I've ever seen. You guys, it's really not great.
Medusa is kind of defined in the comic books as a character that would never work in live action, so this is a challenge.
Yeah,
I mean, this isn't easy. She does get lines in this trailer, which is nice. And a little bit of agency, which I'm glad to see. And I get a better sense, too, of the coming war between Atlan and Earth. So I'm kind of into that idea. It does look a little cheap. All of the sequences on Atlan sure look like they've been shot in, like, you know, some local water processing facility in Vancouver. It's got that kind of feel to it. But I'm kind of into it, and I'm certainly more charmed by Black Bolt in this trailer than I was in the first one.
Okay, so we just saw her hair do the thing, which it looks okay. I mean, it looks fine.
Not easy. I mean, they need their Tress effects right there. They need the Lara Croft technology from the Tomb Raider game. This also establishes a running theme in our trailers from SDCC this year. That is some dirty butt rock that is happening on the soundtrack.
Listen, I kind of am super in love with the dirty butt rock.
There are basically two soundtrack themes at SDCC. The first is that. The first is, let's use something absolutely specific. Oh, we're moving on to the next trailer, Star Trek Discovery, the official trailer. We included this one for me. Thanks, guys. I appreciate
talk
it.
about it. Talk to us.
I am more excited by Star Trek Discovery after this trailer than I was before. I'm still not sure. This is set 5 years before the Enterprise launches on its 5-year mission, and it is set crucially in the Prime timeline. That is the timeline of all the other TV shows. It is not set in the Abrams-verse.
Okay.
Which is a weird choice because my big fear of Discovery is that they just have nowhere to go.
Sure.
That they're only setting it 5 years before Kirk, so they can't run for that long before crossing over with events that we've seen. It looks as though we may be dealing with the Klingon War, which is an established part of Star Trek continuity.
Oh, are those Klingons? They look so different.
This is the thing. The aesthetic is recognizably Star Trek, but really brought up to date. I'm kind of into the look of it. Jason Isaacs is great. Michelle Yeoh is great.
Jason Isaacs is going to be in this?
Jason Isaacs plays the captain.
Oh my gosh.
Or a captain, I guess. I'm not
Maybe
quite
not
sure.
The captain. Now, are they they're not on the Enterprise?
No, this is a different ship.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks pretty good. Some of the space shots have that kind of shaky cam Battlestar Galactica feel to them, which I'm kind of into. I feel like we haven't really done this for a few years. We haven't really done this since Battlestar Galactica, really. Great diverse cast, which I think is good and absolutely representative of what Star Trek should be. This inclusive, optimistic, the perfectibility of the human spirit, the Gene Roddenberry vision of the future, all of that seems
Oh my God,
to be
there
here,
he was.
which I'm into. And he's credited for, his appearance in the trailer suggests that he's going to be a minor part, but he is credited for 15 episodes, so I'm hoping that he's going to be a pretty major part. I like Jason Isaacs quite a lot. And this guy, Beardy McGee here, he gets a line in just a moment revealing that he is in fact Harry Mudd, who is an antagonist from the original series of Star Trek. He's like a con man. He's technically a space jerkwad. I suppose that's how you could best define him. He was involved in the famous Tribbles episode of
I see.
the original series. So it's got the look, it's got the feel. If it has the vision of Star Trek, then I'm actually in at this point.
Well, here's the problem that I'm seeing is that you were just talking about how this series is going to be set 5 years before, James T. Kirk in the original series and all that. Everything looks way better because it's several decades later vis-a-vis sci-fi shows.
We've kind of addressed this problem in the Star Trek universe already with Enterprise, which was the last TV Star Trek series
with Scott Bakula, right?
With Scott Bakula, with Captain Sam Beckett. That was a little weird because it did look more advanced than the original series, but they have skill with that. They have some game, and we're moving on to the Orville trailer. This is Galaxy Quest, the TV show,
which I'm kind of into.
Seth MacFarlane's Star Trek parody.
Yeah, I love Galaxy Quest. I am very uncertain about this.
Here's the thing. There is one thing about this show that is really pushing it forward for me, and that one thing is Adrian Palicki.
There is one thing that is pulling the show back for me, and that thing is Seth MacFarlane.
Okay, well, we don't have to worry about him quite so much. Can't you just look at Space Bobby and just be happy that she's there?
I kind of just wanted her in Star Trek. That's all it is. I'm into the idea. It looks as though it could be actually telling a story, which is obviously going to be the most important thing. If this is just a joke, then I'm less interested in it. But if, like Galaxy Quest, it has a heart and it has a story to tell, then I'm kind of into that. And Adrian Palicki is just, real
she's
great.
Fantastic. No, I mean, this almost looks like I just recently read John Scalzi's novel Red Shirts, which I recommend for both of you. It's very, very good. This reminds me very much of that. Highly recommend that novel. It's really, really very good. God, this trailer is
this trailer is just apparently going to play over again. I guess this is the extended version of this trailer.
So there's a couple
I don't think that we need to watch all of this. We are ready to move on to the trailer for Stranger Things Season 2.
Yeah, is everybody ready to skip?
Let's all click that link in 3, 2, 1. Stranger Things Season 2. This
oh my gosh,
knocked off my socks.
I'm very excited.
Simultaneously exactly what I expected and so much better than I expected.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. And I really like this Dragon's Lair opening. I really want to know how much this is going to read into what we're going to get in the season.
Just like with their D&D game at the beginning of the first season. Yeah.
They're going to go up against the dragon. Someone's going to get burned. This is going to be bad.
Yeah. Well, we get a glimpse of something really interesting. And I don't know how we're going to handle the intersection of the two worlds in Season 2. I'm really interested to see how we do that.
Yes.
Will is apparently, as we could tell from the trailer, being pulled back and forth, apparently
poor
against
Will,
his will.
my sweet soft boy.
Which is pretty great. I'm going to raise this now. Well, let's talk about the monster in the sky, first of all.
The giant creepy
'Cause
hand monster?
That's pretty cool, and suggests that we may be edging toward like a Lovecraftian Cthulhu kind
Man,
of feel.
I hope so.
Which I'm super into.
No, that's really, really good.
Were you guys surprised in this trailer that we hold the reveal of 11 right the way to the end? Because we don't get a glimpse of her until just the last beat
I kind
of the
of
trailer.
was. I wasn't sure if we were even going to, there's Nancy Wheeler's new haircut. Guys, Nancy Wheeler is a monster, and I will never, ever forgive her. Like, my husband and I just recently rewatched Stranger Things Season 1, and he's not quite a Nancy apologist, but, like, I don't hate Nancy. I think that she's, like, I mean, she does, Nancy Wheeler is the real monster. And again, I will never ever forgive her. Like, she made bad choices. And Nathan tries to say, well, Barb could have left when she wanted. And I'm like, no, Barb knew from moment one, hey, we shouldn't go hang out at Steve the douchebag's house. And Nancy's just like, whatever, I like him so much. Burr, burr, burr,
See,
burr.
you just described him as Steve the douchebag. Is it fair to say that Nancy is the real monster, or is it more true to say that John Ralphio Jr. is...
No, John Ralphio Sr. That's John Ralphio's dad.
Oh, I guess that's fair. Yes, it's fair. You don't know that John Ralphio can't travel in time.
Don't mess up the
You've never seen
timelines.
proof of that.
How do you guys feel about Thriller playing in the background of this trailer? Does that work for you guys?
Yeah, I like it. I like
You
the
know
Vincent-
what? I'm amazed to say that I actually really like it.
Yeah.
I don't like Thriller. Like, I'm
Right.
not a fan. I was maybe, I don't know, a little too old or just out of that particular cultural milieu when Michael Jackson was big in the middle of the 80s. But this really speaks to me. The inclusion of Dragon's Lair, the inclusion of Ghostbusters, it's exactly as it should be. It's evocative without being that. It's not the woo game.
Yeah.
You know, it's not proper noun woo
Yeah.
from the audience. It's actually... It seems to be, judging from the trailer, built into the ongoing narrative.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about
Oh,
this
it's
show.
going to be so, so good.
Is Stranger Things the best Netflix original series that we've
I
seen
think
so
so.
far?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah?
hands
I
down,
think
right?
so.
It beats Jessica Jones. It beats Daredevil.
Yes,
it beats,
yeah. We probably need to do like a special episode. I mean, I know that it's not technically comics, but 11 has
It references
superpowers.
comics a lot.
Yes.
There's a lot of comic references.
No, I'm definitely into expanding our mandate here at Excelsior so that we can talk
Oh,
about
maybe
Stranger
right
Things
before
season
season
1.
2 comes out,
I
we should
like that
do
very
Stranger
much.
Things season
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
Maybe we could even do mini-sodes week by week, or I guess not week by week because it's all going to be dropped at once. Never mind that thing that I said. I'm accustomed to old-fashioned television. I'm the world's oldest man. We are moving on to our 6th trailer. I'm sorry,
I was just
Stranger
going to say
Things.
before you move on, I think that trailer did nostalgia perfectly, and we're going to see a movie later that I should love, but I think it drops the ball when it comes to how it handles nostalgia.
Oh, I
films.
completely agree. Yeah, I was
okay.
literally just thinking that like Stranger Things is what Ready Player One ought to invoke, but it
yeah.
does not. So we'll get there when we get there. So now we're
Anyways,
watching
Jessica
Defenders.
Jones just came on the screen.
Yeah,
so
and
we all
so did
need to
Sigourney
change
Weaver.
our-
I always love whenever Sigourney Weaver shows up. I remember going and seeing
Always good.
Cabin in the Woods in theaters, and whenever Sigourney Weaver showed up there at the end, I was
Right
just like,
at
well,
the
hell
end.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is fantastic.
Another movie that pulls that trick is Paul, the Simon Pegg, Nick Frost movie.
Oh, really?
Minor spoilers.
Yeah.
I guess not a spoiler, actually, because you can hear her voice all the way through the
Sure,
movie.
yeah.
But she shows up right at the end, and it is a great reveal. And she is, again, just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
How do we feel about the Defenders? Vinton, quickly, rank our characters here.
Oh, rank the characters.
Yes. Just a quick breakdown of their shows.
Daredevil is my favorite for
Okay.
sure. Jessica Jones is second. Luke Cage is a close third because I actually really like him, although I don't like what his show did as much as Jessica Jones. If I was doing shows, I'd push her further back. And obviously, Iron Fist is last.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's
I
going
have
to be
that
fixed
exact
a little bit here.
Yeah. I have that same ranking, except we flip Jessica and Matt Murdock.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
It's
Man.
Chi. It's not.
It's not cheap.
That is the beat
It's
in the
whatever
trailer
that thing it is you
that
do with
makes
your
me think.
fist.
There
Yeah.
was some great comments
Trish,
back
hey,
and
Trish
forth
Walker.
with
What's up, Patsy Walker?
with Jessica Jones' Twitter account. She kept replying to things like "There's too many smiles in this trailer" and things like that. It was fantastic.
I really like the sense that we're getting in this trailer of a battle for New York. You know, obviously that's a significant
Not
phrase.
the
in the
battle for
MCU.
New York.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But it's a battle for the soul of New York. And I think it's really interesting that we've got our street level heroes going up against this polished, slick, apparently
God, I've got to
corporate
rewatch
opponent.
Jessica Jones.
I'm super into this trailer. Much more than I expected to be. And Vinton, you don't feel great about Elektra in this trailer or in the Netflix version or the Netflix side of the MCU?
Yeah, I don't really care much about Elektra in general. I think she's good for what she was originally in the comics. Do a quick story, kill her off, be done with it. Don't bring her back. When they brought her back in the comic books, it bothered me. When they're bringing her back in the show, it's bothering me.
Yeah.
It's like, just be done with her. I don't actually care that much, especially in Daredevil Season 2 when half of it's about Punisher, half of it's about Elektra. Just focus on Punisher.
Yep.
He was much better.
It's interesting that, I mean, so do the Netflix shows and the ABC shows, are they basically completely separate? Like, is there ever going to be any kind of
The MCU is the MCU. We just had a statement made today that Marvel's Runaways will be set in the MCU.
And it's Hulu production.
But nobody knows what that means.
Okay.
I mean, we are now in a world where Spider-Man Homecoming is set in the MCU, and that's produced by a completely, or distributed by a completely different company. So.
The only reason I ask is because, we, in season 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we have a version of the Punisher there, but it's not the same Punisher that's over on Netflix. And so, I don't know, it's a good thing that Marvel Comics has already set up that they have, many infinite parallel universes, and that's basically what we're just having to do here. Okay, so let's talk about Ready Player One. You both have read this novel, correct?
Yes.
I think, Vinton, you were preaching the gospel of this book for years, and I finally picked it up and read it, and it is fantastic. It's absolutely amazing. And then people have been talking for years about how Steven Spielberg had picked up the rights and was going to be doing the movie, and I was like, hey, that's going to be really cool. It's going to be really interesting. So the book takes place in Oklahoma City, and in the movie, for some reason...
Wait. For those listening at home who may not know, where are we right now?
Oklahoma City.
Okay, just wanted to double check that this is near and dear to our hearts.
Absolutely. So the book takes place in Oklahoma City when it's not taking place in a giant, reboot virtual world.
Why isn't Reboot getting a big movie adaptation?
I don't know,
Reboot is getting brought back.
It is getting a reboot, but it's not that. No. Don't get excited because it's not at all the same. You know how in Digimon all the kids would be transferred into their computer to go on their digital advures?
I know that very well. Yeah. Don't patronize me about Digimon, Sarah.
Okay, all right. One day. But that is basically what is happening with the reboot is that it's not Bob and Dot and Enzo. It's human kids who go. I know.
I'm sorry. What do we think about cinematic game changer Steven Spielberg and Ernest
Holy
Cline's
Grail
Holy
of
Grail
pop
of pop culture?
Trailer, can you cool it from just a little bit? I know that you're also excited, but dang, dude.
My big fear of this movie is that by compressing Ready Player One, you lose what's actually interesting, and you preserve those things that I find less interesting, which is the Woo game. It is the proper noun, explosion. This word
oh my God, there's the Iron Giant. He's right there. Oh my God, somebody's flying a Serenity Firefly in the background. Holy crap, this stuff. I mean, it's cool in the book because it's just given that much attention. It's literally just words, and then you're moving forward. But it seems like we're going to be spending a lot of time on the bombast of look at all these things you love.
And to be fair, it is Comic-Con. They're wanting to grab people's attentions quickly with a short trailer that people that don't know, and so they're throwing in a bunch of cameos, which is going to excite people that doesn't know what Ready Player One is, and to get them to interested to figure out what that might be. And I was originally worried that they weren't going to get a lot of licensing to be able to do these things.
Yeah.
But now I'm a little worried that they've gotten a little bit too much licensing.
A little bit too,
because there's
if they can get all the licensing for Wreck-It Ralph and get all those video game characters in there.
There is no hint of a plot in this trailer.
There absolutely is not.
You have no idea what's happening. All you get is action and cameos, and it doesn't do it for me.
In fairness, it is a teaser. It's not technically the first trailer.
Right.
Let's move into then, a heavy hitter right here.
Wonder Woman 1.5
SDCC trailer. We talked a little about the first Justice League trailer a few weeks ago on Excelsior and the fact that it made me surprisingly excited. I was more into it than I expected to be.
We are begrudgingly, I think it's safe to say that we are begrudgingly excited about this film. This film is very slowly dragging us over into, okay, all right, you got me, I'm in. I mean, okay, here is, good God, Gal Gadot is just, just look at her, you guys.
Taking the rifle stock to the back of her head and just shrugging it off.
Yeah.
That's really
I saw
nothing very interesting.
I saw a combination of that clip and a clip from the cartoon where the same exact thing happens, and it's almost the same way, except her hair just waves a little bit better.
I like that.
And it's just this is Wonder Woman. She's got it.
There's a lot here thematically that's really speaking to me. J.K. Simmons there as Commissioner Gordon, which I'm
super into. So he's definitely not going to be J. Jonah Jameson anytime soon.
Dude is hot in this movie, which is weird and upsetting to me in a way that I can't quite articulate. I really like this. This does everything that I needed to do.
Themyscira we're popping back into for some reason. What is happening? Is this a flashback? Apparently they're bringing back Antiope, even though we killed her off in Wonder Woman. Spoilers, I guess. Why have you not seen Wonder Woman yet?
I kind of feel like I don't like Themyscira showing up here because it makes me really worried that they're going to just try to do too much, that they're just throwing everything into this movie that they can.
I don't know. What I'm worried about, okay, so we see, here's Steppenwolf, not the band, but the DC character. Did the Amazons decide, you know what, man is just really screwing up everything in a really extreme way. We need to bring in some heavy hitting god characters, and then they use their mother cube. I don't even know what that means. I just know that I was watching this and my husband goes, oh, the Amazons have a mother cube. And I'm like, you're just saying shit.
The presence of Antiope in this movie suggests to me that the scenes on Themyscira may be flashback scenes. We might get Baby Diana running around. Which
I do love me some Baby
really
Diana. That girl was great.
If that's our inciting incident, if that's where we pick up, then I'm all about Themyscira. I like
what has
anchoring
Steppenwolf
this
been doing
plot
for the
there.
last 20 years?
That's a great question.
Just chilling?
Just gathering his power, just gathering his forces,
I guess.
waiting for the Kryptonian to fall, I suppose.
Maybe.
Also, we get a weird line in this trailer where they said, "No lanterns, no Kryptonian."
Yeah.
Are we really bringing the Green Lanterns into the DCU?
I
that a
guess.
thing
They've
that
Well,
they
been
we're
want to
talking
do?
not
about
yet, just by
how
name.
they really want to do a Green Lantern Corps movie.
Good luck with that. That is, I don't want to say unfilmable. Okay.
I'm
That
so
beat with the
distracted
Flash
by
there.
Wonder Woman. I'm sorry. I don't
That
care
beat
about
with the
anything
Flash
else.
made me really interested in that character for literally the first time.
Yeah.
You guys are, what is it he says? You guys are going to battle, and I've never gone to battle.
I just push people around and
I'm
run away.
fumbling that line horribly. It's a really good line. I'm interested in the Flash as our Spider-Man analog in this
Yeah.
movie. I'm kind of into that idea.
I don't love his outfit. He looks
Yeah.
like one of the new Power Rangers, which is
He
like
does a little bit.
He looks like a skinny Iron Man. It's very weird. It doesn't need to look like that. Like the TV show Flash outfit is way better, and I don't understand.
Yeah, I got to be honest, guys. My thoughts about this whole trailer are, hey, I get to see more Wonder Woman, and I'm very excited.
Yeah.
And Aquaman could
And
be
I just
cool.
saw the Amazons fighting a bunch of aliens. What is happening?
I'm mostly very about this movie. This moment where Aquaman breaks through the building is like the worst CGI, and it really bothers me.
Yeah.
It looks like he's weirdly
in
sized.
fairness, a lot of those CGI techniques aren't. A lot of the CGI shots aren't refined. They're not finished until the movie's closer to
Man,
coming
it
out.
sure is
so.
weird seeing J.K. Simmons like that, huh? I'm still expecting Gary Oldman, who I think is probably my favorite Commissioner Gordon.
I'm
To
just,
date, but I do love J.K. Simmons.
Well, yeah. No,
I'm sorry, guys. I'm having a hard time caring about this movie.
I totally understand.
I'm very surprised by that, only because I'm caring about it more now than I ever have.
So we got a spark plug, some sort of
Hey
Swiss
guys,
Army thing.
did you know that Superman's going to come back to life?
What?
I had no idea.
Spoilers.
I had
Did
no,
you know that he might have a mustache?
Man, I can't believe that they're hiding him in this trailer from us.
I
Oh,
am.
look at that red shoulder.
Yeah, look at that. I am worried a little bit
don't
because this movie is
care.
currently going back for some major reshoots, which
Yeah.
troubles me a little bit. But I'm hoping that those are major reshoots caused by the success of Wonder Woman.
I hope
And that this
so.
is proof that actually DC has, figured out its shit. So I'm kind of into that. We're moving on now to the Black Panther Conqueror trailer.
Okay, so I haven't actually seen this one.
Versions of this trailer were released prior to. Okay, we're going to get a little pricey, and then we're actually going to move into the trailer proper because a lot of places online are doing this thing, I guess. This is interesting. My passion for this movie remains undimmed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's going
I'm
to be extremely good.
It's going to be so fantastic.
Yeah,
we're
I am
We're going to
super
see all of this
excited.
again at the end of the trailer, which is why I'm talking about it right now and not squealing like a schoolgirl, but I'm kind of into it.
That's generally
yeah.
my job.
Yeah.
Well, no, I guess the three of us are pretty equal in our schoolgirl
Squee-y.
squeeing.
Yes.
Andy Serkis is coming in first.
Andy Serkis and Martin Freeman, as a fan of the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movies, as a fan somewhat less so of the Peter Jackson Hobbit movies,
Well, because they were
this is kind of
terrible.
great. They're not great. The first one's okay, but Bilbo
No,
and
it's
Gollum hanging
not.
out, I'm kind of into that again.
Oh my god, this really is Bilbo and Gollum hanging
Yep.
out, isn't it? Whoa, that's weird. Oh man, now I don't know what to do with this information.
I love that we're getting this perspective on Wakanda, though.
Right.
That it is
Yes.
a secret, or that it
Yes.
has been a secret, confirming all of our speculation, and I think the official leaks too, that Black Panther is going to be a prequel story.
So at least part of this film, because we do have Martin Freeman and Andy Serkis there together, part of this is going to be, I mean, I don't know, do we know when the majority of this film is going to be taking place?
Well, the majority of it has to take place after Civil War. They're going to be going back and talking about it, but he's already Black Panther. He's
Yeah.
already stepped into this role. He's already got that armor. He's already.
Yeah.
I mean, he is who he is now, and I think it's going to deal with the fall. I think we're going to get at least a before title screen,
so many years
Yeah,
ago,
yeah, so many
years
whenever he
ago.
was a
Yeah.
young prince.
Here's
and all
how-
this
here's
other
how this
stuff,
is the
but
story. We're gonna get
You're
that
right,
story.
because he did not become Black Panther until Civil War.
yeah.
But
So
obviously
we're
he
gonna
had trained
see
for that,
him
surely.
there in that role, which is great. Yeah, the timeline is a little messed up right now, and I'm not sure about it. This is the casino sequence, or we just had a glimpse of the casino sequence. Apparently, people in Hall H at SDCC got to see a 5-minute cut of the casino sequence, and
What?
were generally amazed by it. Which I'm
How do you
kind of
feel
into.
about this song in this trailer? It's really fantastic,
it
right?
works
pretty good.
really good.
Yeah.
And this moment where he gets flipped off the car,
Oh my
it's so
gosh.
beautiful.
His suit
I'm a
looks a
kitty
little
cat.
more rubbery than it did in the Civil War, but I'm kind of into that too.
Yeah, I mean, the graphics aren't completely done. Movie's not out.
I mean, like, I know that we're all very excited for that film. I really do hope that it blows us away as much as Spider-Man blew us away. Like, we were like, oh, well, we'll enjoy it. It's going to be good. But I hope that we walk away being like, this is my new favorite superhero movie.
I want that from literally every movie that we've discussed.
Yeah.
I want Ready Player One to be my new Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I want it to be like that thing that speaks specifically to me.
Yeah.
That would be great. I want Justice League to be fantastic. I want all these shows to be good. It would just be good to have more good things, I suppose.
I suppose so. Okay, so what are we looking at now? I don't know what this is.
We haven't seen this before. Vinton, this was your suggestion. This is Bright.
This is something that I hadn't heard of at all until Comic-Con. And apparently it is like a modern day, like, hey, orcs and elves exist in our world. What would that be like? Starring Will Smith.
What?
Orcs and elves apparently exist in the South.
So I'm not sure about it. It seems really interesting.
I'm assuming this doesn't end
Oh,
well.
it's just
Is he talking
it's a
about
Netflix
Suicide
movie.
Squad?
That's what he might be. Okay, that looks fun. Yeah, no, I'm into that. Why not?
That's pretty great. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I have no idea anything about it.
Oh, we're getting a brief,
Like a little mini
picture of the Power Rangers there, which I'm
All right,
into.
what do we got now?
Now we've got season 2 of Preacher. Vinton, this is all you too.
Preacher is a comic that I really enjoyed back in the day. It's fantastic. It's really irreverent. It's actually crosses the line a few times for most people, probably, I'm sure. It gets really dark, really gross. The season 1 was amazing of this TV adaptation. It blew my mind. It's kind of a prequel to the comic book.
Oh my God, Howard Stark, what are you doing here? and that's Raina.
What's funny about this teaser is that we've already had a few episodes of season 2, and they're teasing what they're about to do in the season, which is something I've never seen before. And it's because it looks epic. It looks really awesome. And this song is perfect for it.
Oh, what is happening right now?
It's Poison.
Very, very into this trailer, I've got to tell you. This kind of has a style and a swagger that I wanted from American Gods and didn't entirely get from American Gods.
Oh.
Yes, I agree.
So, yeah, this looks very promising indeed.
Are we going to have to watch the first season of
It certainly looks like it.
I would encourage it.
Having just watched the first season of Agent Carter again, I am willing to watch literally anything that Dominic Cooper is in, except that damn Warcraft movie, which is terrible.
Oh my God, he was in that, wasn't he? And so was Raina, actually.
That's very true.
Yes.
Wow, yeah.
What is her real name?
Ruth Negga.
Ruth Negga.
Yes.
Okay, I'll try to remember that from now on, but I promise nothing. I'm very bad with names. That's not true. Whoa, hey, that's you. Oh, is that Hitler?
Yep.
They're in hell, but hell is a prison?
Yep. And
Hell
that's
is
a
other
character lovingly known as Arseface.
This is really...
Comics, you guys.
What is happening here?
Can you give us a brief kind of scan, a précis of the comic?
Yeah, so the comic is, there is this Southern preacher guy who's trying to understand his life, his place in the world, basically. And he gets this power that is basically an angelic voice, God's voice, perhaps. And
He's the
he can
Metatron.
basically say something and it makes people do whatever he says.
Right,
He can do whatever with his voice. And angels come looking for him and are like, hey, you got to give that back. And he's like, I'm not going to. And they're like, well, let me talk to God. And they're like, well, we don't know where God is. And no one knows where God is. And so he has to find God.
That is such a great setup. I'm into that now. Yes, I really want to go watch Preacher season 1 and maybe suggest an upcoming Excelsior on Preacher season 1.
That sounds great. No, let's give it a shot.
Yeah,
Why not?
How close to the line is it for some of our listeners of a sensitive disposition? Is it pretty tough to watch?
There are probably a million trigger warnings to be issued before.
Okay.
There's like suicide stuff. I don't think there's...
Okay, so we have
it's rough. It's rough.
It's rough.
This is a hard cut right here
This
from
really
Preacher.
is. Yeah, we're talking about
DuckTales.
suicide, and freaking Scrooge McDuck has just now popped up on screen. Someone talk to me about this.
Everyone is excited about
David
this.
Tennant.
This is going to be a big deal. Oh, David Tennant, Ben Schwartz, a guy who you may have heard of called Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, Lin-Manuel Miranda is going to be doing a voice in it. Danny Pudi.
Yes.
Yeah, Katie Micucci, which I love her.
I adore Kate
Micucci, not
Kate
Katie.
Micucci of Garfunkel and Oates, yes.
So I'm really excited about the voice work here, but I'm more excited about the fact that from what I've read and what I've seen, the animation style alone, it's very much
very good,
based off the old comic books
Yeah.
and not the TV show. They're going to reference the TV show. They have characters that were only in the TV show, but this is really focusing on the comic books, and that's awesome. And I'm very excited.
I'm very
for that.
into this idea. Yes.
This is okay. This is a little weird for me because like I grew up watching like the original DuckTales, and so to hear Scrooge McDuck not sound like the Scrooge McDuck of my childhood is a little bit interesting.
Sure.
There's a little bit of weirdness there, but.
And it looks like
It looks like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
It does kind of look like that. You're right. It looks like Donald is going to actually be a part of it. He is actually an adventurer that's going off on adventures and coming back to say hi to the boys every once in a while. And so I like that. That was more like the comics.
So when you say we're getting characters from the TV show, from the original animated series, we're getting Gyro Gearloose.
Yeah, as far as I know,
I
yes.
mispronounced that horribly.
Sorry, I didn't hear any of that. I'm watching this trailer.
Yes, we are getting characters from the show that never showed up in the comics, which I'm really excited about because I do love the show. I grew up watching this show. It's fantastic.
Anytime you give a character a grappling hook, I'm kind of into that.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, I like this very much. This is going to be on my list. This is part of the mid '90s nostalgia reboot cycle that we're getting here. We're getting Rocko's Modern Life. Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold's getting a movie. I'm very excited about both of those. We won't be discussing today, but Rocko's Modern Life especially released a trailer that is super meta and it's humor. They're like, we're not in the '90s anymore. They're dealing with technology, cell phones. They're like, what is happening to our world? And it's fantastic. Every bit of that humor.
I have
is
a
glorious.
fun short segue. The principal of my high school was able to do a very, very good Donald Duck voice. And anytime he wanted all of us dumb kids to pay attention during like a pep rally or whatever, he would use his Donald Duck voice.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a smart man.
And that music doesn't sound completely dissimilar to the original DuckTales music, so I'm hoping that we'll get
they released a theme song.
They have?
Of it,
okay.
And it's very similar to the original.
Okay. So this is Brigsby Bear? What is this?
So I was looking for trailers or looking at the trailers that came out and I saw this and I was like, what is this?
Is that Teddy Ruxpin? What is happening?
So it is basically about, it looks like maybe it has a Kimmy Schmidt vibe to it where this kid's been raised up in this secluded place and then gets freed from it. But he grew up watching this show, this old kids show. And when he comes out, he finds out it was canceled and they never released any new episodes of it. And he's completely devastated by this and decides that he's going to finish the TV show.
Is that Mark Hamill?
I don't think so. I could be wrong. I just watched it just before coming in and I didn't pay a lot of attention to all the details or look up a lot about it. But I'm very excited about it. It reminds me of one of my favorite movies in the world, which is Special, which was a movie about a guy who took pills and became a superhero, but turns out it was only in his own mind. And that's not really a spoiler, but it has a very similar feel to it here. And so it looks like he's getting released from some kind of captivity there, Kimmy Schmidt style, possibly. And he's trying to fit into the real world, but he's obsessed with this show. And they tell him that there's no new episodes.
Very into this.
This is really interesting.
This is also like the most meta trailer that we could include in this rundown because this is about exactly the kind of pop culture obsession that we've been referring to.
That we've been talking about.
Bringing all these titles back, bringing all of these characters back. I'm very interested in this.
Also, the guy starring it is Kyle Mooney, and this is someone who my wife found on YouTube a long time ago that she loves him, and he's been on SNL since then.
Claire Danes, Mark Hamill, Greg Kinnear. This is great.
It is Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
I just missed that when I first watched it. And I was too busy talking and not looking when you saw it.
This looks really charming.
I want this to be very heartwarming. That is what I want. I want it to be a little weird and very heartwarming. This looks like one of those movies
that's going to just absolutely break my heart and have me sobbing through the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is really, but I'm really excited about it.
Well, that's great. That. No, that looks fantastic. Yes. That also looks like what we want Ready Player One to be almost in a way.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to the first official trailer for The Gifted.
Talk to me about this.
This is the new Fox Mutants show. This is going to be Fox X-Men.
Oh, and they're actually allowed to use mutants and X-Men.
Yes, they are.
Right?
Yes, they are, because they do own the X-Men. I am very worried about this show.
Oh,
I am not being pulled in by the trailers. I feel like they're very much so trying to rip off the Runaways, which is why I think the Runaways got pushed up in its scheduling to be released earlier. So it will release while this show's still coming out and not release after the show's done. So I think I'm glad for that, I guess. But it also feels like it was made by the creators of Heroes, which bothers me.
It feels like Heroes. That was exactly what I was thinking too. Yeah, it really does.
I just don't know what to think about it. I
like the idea of, if it is low key, I like the idea of low key superheroics or at least low key superpowers, the kind of things that we got originally in Heroes before Heroes amped everything up to the apocalyptic level. The first season of Heroes is great. Yes. Nothing else that comes out of Heroes is great.
I specifically only said first season for a reason. That was my choice.
So these guys they're not X-Men. Are these guys like from a comic at all, or is it just
there are a few comic characters introduced. A few of them are questionable because we don't see a lot about them, but you can look up. There are numerous actual heroes in here, but they do mention we don't know if the X-Men or the Brotherhood are around.
Is that Amy Acker?
I didn't see, but I can't imagine. They didn't get Amy Acker for this show.
No, that looked like Amy Acker.
Maybe.
Which makes me worried because nothing good ever happens to Amy Acker.
But Amy Acker is very good.
No,
in
she's
everything.
very good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that the reason why you hire Amy Acker is so that something horrible can happen to her.
I'm a little surprised that this looks so cheap that it looks like Heroes. The CW is doing amazing things in the comic book superhero space right now. I mean, not necessarily narratively amazing things, but visually impressive things. This is somewhat less impressive. Hey, we're going to talk about the CW in just a minute.
Even has the Heroes beat from the season that they just recently did where they tried to bring it back, Heroes Reborn.
Are they still trying to do
and where in Heroes Reborn there was a guy whose kid was killed, and so he became a hunter of superheroes, basically the people with powers, but only to find out that his kid had powers. Now he has powers or something like that. And so this is doing a very similar beat there. And I'm like, did you steal that from them too? Are you just like taking things left and right from places hoping that you can make a show work?
That's odd because canonically that's not how specifically mutant powers work. Yeah. Mutant powers are genetic. They're not like, teragenesis or being bitten by a radioactive something. Yeah. Are these Sentinels? Is that what we're getting? The little spider
something
guys?
like Sentinel guys.
I like that as a take on the Sentinels.
There is apparently a father to some mutants who is now hunting them, and that was his job, was to hunt mutants.
Does this take place in any of the other Fox universe? Does it take place in the X-Men universe?
They reference the X-Men and they reference the Brotherhood, which suggests that it is a part of that of the like everything from X-Men First Class all the way through to Logan, I suppose.
But Fox,
can we just
every
count
new
Logan?
thing is its own canon.
What are we looking at now?
This is the Black Lightning trailer for season 1. This is a forthcoming CW
That's
series.
what it's called, but it's going to tease.
That
like
was
it's not
Amy Acker, by the way. I just looked it up. It was defo blonde Amy Acker.
Astonishing.
But this is going to tease and show clips from all of the CW shows for DC here before it even gets to Black Lightning. In a really cool way. It shows artists working on panels. It shows some animation.
Oh, that's fun.
And then it shows clips from the shows. And what's funny is the Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, Legends, those are all good shows. The Flash is the only one that I really keep up with. Supergirl, I keep up with kind of. I watched all their trailers and I didn't really care.
Those trailers are not good trailers for people who haven't been like really keeping up, though.
Yeah. This gets me excited though for all of them. And so I think this does exactly what all those trailers should have done. With The Flash, they're already bringing it back to the status quo. If you've watched the last season, they changed some things at the very end and made everyone hopeful that the new season was going to change some things and do some cool new things. And in their teaser trailer that they released, they were like, hey guys, we're bringing Barry back immediately and we're going right back to the status quo. I hope you enjoy.
We're introducing another masked villain who's going to be unmasked during the course of the season.
Supergirl does seem to be doing something interesting where she's going to ditch her alias and she's just going to be full on like kick-ass Supergirl.
Yeah.
And that's
cool.
it.
There's a great line in the trailer where she says Kara Danvers was a mistake.
Yeah,
so
she's
her
a
whole
super passionate
superhero alias.
Wait, her last name is Danvers?
Yes.
That's fun. Who did that?
That may be why they're ditching her alter ego, actually.
Probably so.
Arrow seems stuck in a rut to me. I watched half of the last season and it just seems like it's doing the same thing over and over again.
I've never seen before.
The Supergirl version of Superman,
he's great,
is maybe the best version of Superman that I've ever seen on screen.
Is he like a proper Superman?
So good. And Supergirl is also great. She is such a heroine. I adore her.
Here's Black Lightning, and I'm pretty excited about this. I know when he was first teased, a lot of people thought they were teasing Static Shock, and a lot of people got very excited about that, including myself. But then to find out it was Black Lightning, and I don't know a lot about Black Lightning, but this seems like it could be a cool thing.
He is and correct me if I'm wrong here, because this is all from dim and distant memory, but he is a street level DC kind of vigilante character, right? He's more like Luke Cage than he is.
But I don't know.
Like the Batman, I suppose. But I'm into the idea. CW's been doing great work, honestly.
Fantastic.
Even Legends of Tomorrow.
Do I need to watch these shows? I mean, I know I don't need to watch Arrow.
You don't need to watch Arrow.
The Flash is the one that you need to watch.
Flash is great. Supergirl is really great. Knowing your primary values. Supergirl, you'll really like.
Supergirl has a lot of missteps, but also does a lot of good things.
Okay.
Also in the second season of Supergirl, her adoptive sister comes out.
Oh,
and there are a lot
fun.
of really great stories about that.
Good,
It's
I'm into
handled
that.
really very well.
Have either of you watched any Gotham at all?
I watched all of season
wait,
one.
Hold on. Wait. Did we just fucking watch the Waynes die again?
Yep, they had to include that in the
skip
trailer.
the damn trailer. I don't even care. I'm out. No, we can keep watching
Season
it,
one
fine.
was fantastic. I loved season
Is
one.
that Marina Baccarin? She's in the show.
Yes.
I forgot.
I never even heard anything about season 2 necessarily that made me turned off from it. I just never picked it up, and I don't know why. Now it's on season 4, so I'm just like, well,
Nathan
I don't know
and I
if I'm
watched
going to go back
all
to
of
this or
these on
not.
Netflix a few months ago, and I mean, like, it was interesting. I'll tell you what, you do have to view it as a completely separate, alternate, its own universe story, because otherwise it's like, none of this makes sense. None of this tracks with the eventual
Season 1,
Batman.
season 1, Penguin was so amazing. I loved the way Penguin was done in season 1.
Was there a beat there of a Harley Quinn origin story? Was that what we just saw?
Possibly.
Not.
They've been teasing the Joker, and I heard that they kept like introducing people that could have been the Joker and saying that they weren't. It's very weird. Selena Kyle is fantastic. Yes.
That's actually a very good beat. I'm kind of interested in that.
I mean, the show is pretty good, specifically for like Selena and Bruce's relationship was actually really interesting to me, and I really liked that a lot.
I'm interested in this idea of this kind of noir-inflected perspective on Gotham. That is interesting to me. But this is
is that the Joker?
This is what pulls me out of it.
Is there Joker? Are we going to see him? Oh, God.
Wow.
This is a guy that was introduced that people kept saying they thought would be the Joker, and they kept not being the Joker, I guess. I'm not sure what's happening now because I'm not caught up.
We all got quiet for a second because we were trying to figure out what is, oh, God, and Gotham is just turning to hell.
Okay.
Why does anyone live there?
I don't know. They should
like
just
really
move out.
cheap
They should all move out.
I guess
really
so.
cheap
No, I mean, like you could probably live in like I bet Wayne Manor costs like $1,000 a month.
The newest issue of a Tom King Batman story has a whole 3-panel beat where the Joker has a cabbie take him to some house. He walks in that says, in this house there were 2 parents who just had a daughter, and then you see like bang, and so then the 2 parents were very sad to lose their daughter. It was like bang bang, and it's like, oh, they're all 3 dead now. And I was like, why do people live in Gotham? This is terrible. He just pulled up in some house.
Move to
It was like, I'm just gonna kill this family for fun because I'm the Joker.
That was clearly okay. Yep, that's a
whoa. Things got weird.
Freeze,
that's a Mr. Freeze right there.
Yeah, that is a little bit more CW than I ever saw Gotham be. So that was interesting.
Wow.
I actually didn't watch this trailer before we recorded this, so this is all new to me.
The show gets really, I think, it wants to do a lot, and it's asking you to believe that it's capable of doing a lot of these things, and you kind of have to. I mean, obviously, Selena, don't do this. Selena, it's a bad choice. You're becoming Catwoman now, I guess. Whatever. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, it was pretty good. Oh my God, is Marina Baccarat gonna become Poison Ivy?
Damn.
For a show that we're not interested in, there's a lot of oh my God.
There's
a lot happening.
This trailer is like 5.5 minutes long. How much of this season are they spoiling?
Apparently, all of it.
The whole thing that is happening.
I feel like this is all I need to watch, actually.
My concern with Gotham is the same as my concern with all prequels, including the Star Trek prequel that we were talking about earlier. They just don't have any space. They can't ever get to Batman. They can't ever tell the story which is definitive of Gotham. So they can only ever play in the periphery. That's Ra's al Ghul.
I almost said, oh my God, again, but then you made fun of me a second ago.
I definitely didn't make fun of you. I adore your enthusiasm. You know that. This was a celebratory. We're saying, oh my God.
You know what we should do? Okay, like I know that, we maybe don't have time to watch like every episode of all these shows, but we definitely need to be like, okay, today we are doing the first episode of the first season of Gotham, and then if we like it again, or if we like it enough, maybe we'll go back.
Maybe we should just take a month and do like first episodes or something.
I like
that. Of like all the CW and the Fox shows.
There are
like
4 CW shows that we could do, and I think, Sarah, that you would actually like, if you can get past the heavy DC continuity of it, I think you might really like Legends of Tomorrow, because that show is dumb. That is a show that throws ideas at the wall.
Really good at doing that.
What are they supposed to do with like a teenage Bruce Wayne who knows all of this stuff? Like, is Batboy? Can I call you Batboy? Is that what happens there?
He is Robin.
That would be the twist, right? If he becomes Nightwing.
Yeah,
he's just in an entirely alternate reality here. Is this trailer still going?
Yes, it is. I don't know how they plan to do so much.
Confirming audience expectation there, Sarah, that you and I are in fact the same person.
Basically,
I think every episode they're going to do a completely different thing.
Just so that our red jacket. We have the same red jacket.
It's not quite the same red jacket. Mine's a little more masculine than yours. Thank you.
And a little bigger. Shade. Otherwise, it wouldn't fit.
Shut up, both of you. Oh man, I think I'd be really interested in watching a show where this is just going on though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I'd be really
almost
interested
done.
in
We're
watching
almost
a
there.
show where Marina Baccarat becomes Poison Ivy.
Oh, there was a heavy fear caption there, so we're doing the Scarecrow too.
Yeah, Crane. I heard Crane.
Is that the guy with the scars in his face?
Like
is that supposed
there
to be
he is.
So we're doing like every single Batman villain this season.
Well, that's the thing. Is they do them every season. Like they do. I mean, like you see, like everybody all the time. And like here's 15-year-old Bruce Wayne. Excuse me, who knows about the Penguin, who knows about, like, he's like best friends / makeout buddies with Anyway, I don't know. It's fine. It's a fine show to binge on a Saturday.
So we're moving on to Stargate Origins.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
So
I really like the Stargate movie. It's got a young Ultron in it.
The Stargate movie is
we're
like
rebooting the Stargate universe based on the movie and none of the shows that came out after it.
That's good for me because I love the movie so much.
We watched this
I love the
recently.
feed.
I
That's
never
so
saw any of the shows. I've never seen a single episode of any of the shows. I hear that they're good.
Was that the whole thing?
Yeah, this is just a teaser. It looks as though what we're doing with Stargate Origins is that we're resetting to the discovery of the Stargate in Egypt in the 1940s, and that the woman who discovers the Stargate, who in the original movie just, I guess, hangs around and is an old woman to pass on stage advice to Daniel Jackson, is actually an adventurer. She goes through the Stargate.
Oh,
so we are
fun.
absolutely rebooting this thing. And then we may come full circle to connect it back to the movie. I'm interested in it, but it's not Stargate is the thing. It's not the Stargate universe that I know, so it may as well be a new story. I'm into the idea.
Sure,
I like
why
it.
not?
This is a trailer from my friend Dahmer. Vinton, you suggested this one. I haven't seen this yet.
So there is a
beautifully
graphic
shot.
novel memoir by a man whose name is Dirk Backdurf. Durf Backdurf. Durf Backdurf. That's it. Durf Backdurf. It's a very
Durf Backdurf.
weird name. It's a very unusual name. But he grew up being friends with Jeffrey Dahmer in school.
Okay.
And so when Jeffrey Dahmer became obviously who Jeffrey Dahmer becomes, he went back and wrote a graphic novel memoir of his time knowing him and the kid that he was to him.
Okay.
Just to show this side of the story because he thought it was an interesting thing to show. And I have still not read the graphic novel. I've heard it's really good. It's on my shelf. I'm really interested in it. But then I heard that this trailer was out because I didn't even know they were making a movie of it. And this trailer is also very fascinating. Serial killers are not my thing, but this is very fascinating.
It's beautifully shot. It's not going to be a fun watch.
No.
That seems very clear.
Not
Is
Evan
this a
Peters.
kind of
I was
Napoleon
incorrect.
Dynamite played straight? Because I'm not sure that I can watch that.
Oh my gosh.
I don't appreciate that idea.
Oh, I kind of hate that.
Oh boy. Yeah.
This took a bad turn very quickly.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's probably going to be very dark. I mean, it's what the real story is. It's looking into the fact that the worst people in the world that have done the worst things were people. And they had childhoods and they grew up and they had circumstances. And it's very interesting to look and see what those were. And that's not necessarily like a sympathy thing, like we should forgive them for what they did or anything. But it's very interesting to look back and see who were these people before everything went wrong in their lives and everything went somewhere
with the understanding, of course, that it's from somebody else's perspective. And so it's going to be, you know.
And then, of course, this is the movie adaptation of a memoir. So there's going to be even more change probably. It would be worth looking at the Wikipedia article to see what they keep and what they change from the memoir. And then maybe what the memoir actually maybe gets wrong, or there might be no way of knowing that.
So this is going to be interesting. What we're reviewing next is the Westworld season 2 trailer. Have either of you seen Westworld?
Yes. Westworld, the movie from like in the 70s.
Yes.
It's fantastic. I love that film. And I started watching the TV show and it's amazing. It may be one of the best seasons of television I've seen in a long time. It's so fantastic. I loved every
that's a cool freaking
single
shot,
thing about
though.
it. Every single thing about that season I loved. I was so in love with it. You should both watch it.
Gorgeous series, yeah.
That being said,
have you seen it, Alistair?
I've seen the first episode, but the thing about Westworld season 1 is that it has been comprehensively spoiled for me. So I know everything that happens in the season. It is definitely, it's on my list. I want to go back and watch it.
I mean, I think I know about it.
I was able to get through without hearing spoilers, and it was really great.
Good for you.
That being said, the end of it, small spoiler, references that there are other worlds like Westworld. If you don't know about Westworld, this is a future where they create a whole world to make you feel like you're stepping back into the old West with robots and things.
Yeah.
Which they kind of tell you that's what's going on at the beginning. But here, the spoiler alert is that at the end, you find out there's other worlds in the company too, like Samurai World, Pirate World, Medieval World. This trailer gives us none of that and says, hey, look, guys, more adventures in Westworld. And I'm like, I don't understand how this is connected to last season. I don't understand what you're doing. You're just basically saying, hey, we're making more of it. And I knew that already.
Yeah, that makes me less interested in season 2 of Westworld. Honestly, the idea that it's once more with feeling,
right? And I could have
speak to me so much.
Been okay with Westworld just ending because I didn't know they were going to bring it back for more, and so I thought they were just going to let it hang there, and I was fine with that. Actually, it didn't bother me.
Sure.
And I'm worried that I'm going to feel that way even after watching season 2.
That is a great trailer, though.
Yeah, that was it was neat.
Yeah,
aside
without having seen it, I think it would be fun. But having watched the first season of Westworld, I'm just like, that didn't do anything for me.
Hey, are you suggesting that there's an HBO show that's just really going in circles and
they
making
just
more
won't
seasons
stop?
of a show that should have ended maybe 3 seasons ago? Huh.
Oh, hey, and we put this trailer in specifically for me. So now we're looking at the
All right.
100.
Sarah, this is your pitch to us. Apparently, we're going to get a recap of previously on the 100, and this is like a 5-minute
The
thing.
title of this says the 100 Season 4 Comic-Con Sizzle Reel trailer. What is the date on this? Because this may be the wrong thing.
No, I think this is it.
No, it is, yeah. Published. Okay.
This starts off with a little girl telling a story.
So, okay,
and
to
she's telling the
clarify,
story of everything
this says
that's
season 4, but it should be season 5?
It should be season 5.
Okay.
Season 5 is the
All right,
season that
that's
we're
a
coming up
typo.
on.
Okay.
All right, so here's the premise of the TV show, The 100. So the Earth has a nuclear war. Everything is irradiated, and there are 13 space stations from various countries that are up in space, and they're like, we are the last of humanity. So they all connect, except for the 13th space station, which was like, no, we're not going to do this. We don't want to be with you guys. So the other 12 end up shooting them down and connecting the rest of the space stations together, because now at this point, we're like, we're on limited resources. We only have what our space stations are able of putting together. So fast forward 98 years, it was supposed to be 100 years before anybody could go back down to the planet Earth, where it would no longer be so irradiated that people could actually live there. And then whenever you're on the space station, if you commit a crime and you're under 18 years of age, you go to prison until you're 18, and then they basically give you a trial because, like, if you're an adult and you commit a crime, they kill you immediately because, like, we can be using your food and we can be using your clothes and we don't need criminals on this thing. So they end up sending 98 children, basically.
98 young hot people, Sarah.
98
I think was the phrase
young
that you're looking for.
hot
people.
Because none of these
this-
people is actually 18. These people are all
They're all
26 years
20.
old.
Oh my God, Lexa, I'm
Which
dead.
in this trailer, she said the little girl says 100 and the older girl says 101 actually. So I don't know what that's about. Is that spoilers
Okay,
or-
yeah. So, well, I actually don't know quite what that is either, because they initially send 100 of these kids down. Oh no, wait. No, yes, okay. I think that they may be including Bellamy, who went down as. Anyway, it's this whole big long thing. Anyway, okay, here's the thing about this show. Fuck, I keep getting distracted by Lexa. She's my absolute favorite. This show, I would not describe it as like an absolutely astonishing or amazing show, but it is fun and it is dumb and it's very, very, very progressive. I feel like, I mean, like, our main character is absolutely bisexual, and like, we don't do this thing where it's like, oh, well, you have to choose between like the guy that you like and the girl that you like. She goes who she wants to be with, which is totally awesome. So many kick-ass chicks throughout this entire series, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yes.
And it's gonna sound like I'm being really snide, and I want to promise you first off that I am absolutely not. Is this just like dystopian YA future with like a sci-fi gloss of post-irradiated Earth and space stations? Okay.
Yes, but I think that they do it well, is the thing. Like, if I were to rank this among some of the other, like, YA stories that we've seen of a dystopian future, things like Divergent or things like The Hunger Games, like, I think that this is better than both of those because we do have longer time to be with these characters.
Sure.
And, I mean, it was really funny, actually, because I'm watching the first season and there's this love triangle that comes up, and I was immediately like, God, I do not care. I'm so done with this. And they end up killing the guy, like, pretty immediately. And it's like, no, you really don't have to worry about this much. But Zach McGowan is in this series. He shows up in season 4, which is really fantastic.
Doesn't Ricky Whittle show up in this show?
Ricky Whittle is in
Shadow
the first
Moon of
Ricky
American
Whittle is
Gods?
in like the first 3 seasons of the series. He's very, very good.
It looks like it became Mad Max at some point.
That's the thing, is it starts out.
That was Henry Ian Cusick. That was Desmond from Lost right there.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Here's the thing is that this show starts out with, okay, so everybody's in space, we're going to send these kids down. And then literally it does turn into like this whole Mad Max thing. And we've got like, it turns out that there are people that have been living on Earth throughout this entire irradiated time. And we call them the Grounders. And so, and like everyone has gone back to this.
This is why we don't let 18-year-olds name things, by the way.
Basically, yeah. But no, it's like, again, I think it's a good show, but that's because I enjoy the show. I wouldn't even call this a good show. Like, I wouldn't even rank this up with some of the other shows that we watched.
Okay.
But it is fun and it is dumb, and I enjoy the hell out of this show.
We've still got like another 2 minutes of this trailer.
Yes,
Can
we
you
do.
kind of break that down for me? It's not a good show, but it is a show that you really enjoy. And it's a show about which we know because we've been hanging out with you for the last couple of months. This is a show about which you are extremely passionate.
Yes.
In what sense is it not a good show if it speaks to you in all of these ways, on all of these levels,
that's a
and
really
makes
good
you
question.
feel the things that it makes you feel?
I guess I think about shows like Buffy, right? Or I think about some of the other shows that we watch, like Firefly, and like maybe the writing on the 100 isn't always like on par with the writing of some of our other shows.
Okay.
But and some of the characters are really just I mean, goddamn near deplorable. Oh, now we're in the actual preview part for the next thing. But I don't know, like I guess it's, I probably say that as a way to sort of like defend me like watching this show. I think it's because I get nervous that somebody else will watch this and be like, this is stupid and this is dumb and this is just teen angst, futuristic YA bullshit. But I don't know. I really enjoy it. I like the show a lot, guys.
I feel pretty powerfully that we shouldn't engage with that kind of discourse.
I think that
you know what, this is something that speaks to you
right
very
here,
powerfully.
On today's episode of Excelsior, I'm going to go ahead and say it. The 100 is a pretty good show.
Yeah. And more importantly, it's a show that you really like.
I do really love this show.
I've never seen a single episode. I knew almost nothing about it until you started talking about it. And I was like, this is very interesting. I watched this just before coming in and I was like, this looks really good. And they just like caught me up and like, I might just skip ahead and start the new season.
Well, okay, because honestly, like you can start at season 2 is the thing. Like season 1 gives us a lot, but I mean like it's like some of the stuff that they end up doing with like, cause like it turns out that really nothing is quite what you think it is. Like the nuclear war is there's actually a really interesting twist there. Again, we get like beautiful queer relationships.
Okay,
not
you have
just our
5 seconds before we're talking about Thor.
But there's also other queer relationships that are going on the show that are totally worth it. It's just really, really good. And guys, the 100 is great. What are we talking about now?
Thor Ragnarok. This is our last trailer.
Yes.
We saved the best to the end.
Yes,
definitely my most anticipated film of the year. Oh, it's so good.
We've talked a lot in our discussion of the MCU movies about the ways in which Chris Evans has slowly transformed into Captain America in real life. The actor has become the part. What I love about Thor is that over the years, the part has become the actor. Mm-hmm. There is no Thor in the MCU. No. There's just superpowered Chris Hemsworth, you guys.
Oh, man. Even the music is so good here.
It's
like,
so
Blood Zeppelin was so perfect, but this is good. Mark Ruffalo's here. He apparently doesn't remember things that happened when he was the Hulk. Apparently hasn't transformed.
Did you, that ship that just passed by, did you guys see that was a red, blue, and gold ship?
I didn't, but we may watch this one twice.
Yeah.
Did we see that those are Carol Danvers' colors on that ship?
That's interesting. She's not going to show up in this, but there might be some like teasing going on there. Valkyrie there is fighting Hela, which I think is really awesome.
Oh my god!
This sequence of Valkyrie and apparently the Valkyries fighting Hela is so staggeringly beautiful. We get a few slow motion shots of this through the course of the trailer. It's stunning.
Yeah,
the rumination of Asgard.
Beautiful.
I did not
Thor goes in for the fist bump.
I did not realize
Banner goes in for the high five.
How much
so
shorter
awkward.
than Chris Hemsworth Mark Ruffalo was.
You have Loki here. It's going to be very interesting to see how they wrap up the last time we saw Loki taking over Odin's place in disguise and how they bring him into this and into a team up of some. There's Fenrir the wolf, which is an offspring of Loki in the comics and mythology. So that'll be interesting to see if they mention anything about that.
That's definitely not Carol Danvers' ship. Okay, never mind.
There's Banner flying it.
Very brief shot of Heimdall there. We get Idris Elba back for another performance. I hope he gets a little more to do. I'd like to see that. Based on this trailer, by the way,
a cool shot.
Valkyrie may be my new favorite hero in the MCU.
And then Thor comes down with the lightning, and maybe he doesn't need the hammer. Maybe the power was inside of him all along.
I love that.
We're both like fire.
I love the tone that we're getting throughout this. I know I'm talking over the dialogue, and I really don't want to. I hate that I'm doing this as much as you are. I don't know. That's the Hulk fighting the devil?
No. That is the Hulk fighting. Oh god, I forget his name. Surtur, who is Fire Lord Surtur from mythology and comics. Thor. Let's see. He is like from another hell in mythology. It's a different hell.
It's Muspelheim. Is that the?
I think so.
I
don't know too much about it.
Which I think is actually
he's a big thing in the comics, and he is usually the one that brings Ragnarok. He's the one that brings utter devastation and destruction.
But my thought when we watched the first Thor trailer, that opening shot where he's in the chains suspended over fire, that looks like it's Muspelheim.
Oh, yeah.
So he may have gone to Norse fiery hell. There are two hells in Norse mythology. Basically, there's a fiery hell and an icy hell. Because, you get to pick. And Robert Frost knows what's up, you guys. That was a deep cut reference for all of my, English lit listeners.
Which I would like to think are most of our listeners. We have the smartest listeners on the internet, I feel like.
I kind of want to watch the Thor one again before we wrap up.
Should we do that?
We're going to play it again. We're going to play it again. In 3, 2, 1, play this thing again. This is just spectacular. The tone is so strong.
The music really is.
This is really strong. He's recapping events. I lost my hammer like yesterday. But that's really important because we were speculating about the timeline here. He clearly loses his hammer on Earth.
Yes.
And then ends up on Scar immediately.
Yeah, we basically called that. We were like, that's going to happen in like the first 15 minutes of the movie.
We thought it was going to be early, but I didn't necessarily think that it was going to be like yesterday.
That early?
Yeah, so it looks
Really
like
strong.
that all happens right away. We get thrown right
We
into
have a
this,
giant
and
red beam
into
there
it.
in the center.
Yeah, where is that red beam? Where this must be happening on Scar, I guess. This must be the consequence of the wormhole, I guess, because
Yeah.
it looks a lot like the portal over New York.
Yeah.
So when
God, that's such a cool fucking shot.
isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That's painted on the side of a van somewhere in the 70s.
It's about to be painted on the side of my office wall.
And
I
it
love
looks
that,
like
yes.
Banner possibly
won
hasn't
easily.
been Banner since we saw him last.
That may well be
He's
the
been
case.
Hulk the whole time, and he
Yeah.
doesn't remember anything that happened because Thor's having to catch him up on everything.
I'm really wondering if we're going to get a backstory for Banner in this, if
And
we're going to find out how Hulk got
I
here,
hope
or
not.
if it's
I
just
hope
going to
it's
be.
just-
But
Nothing.
that could be why Hulk is now speaking. He's been Hulk so long, he's picking up some vocabulary.
Could be.
It's very rough, like it is in
Well,
the comics.
We
Hulk
have had
smash.
him speak a little
Yeah, he
before. We
spoke
had
in the
Puny
Avengers.
God, we had Hulk
Sure,
Smash,
sure.
so we've had some kind
But
of
he
sense
seems
of
to
that,
be able
but-
to converse now more.
Sure.
And talk, yeah, so I'm into it.
Hey, guys.
Loki, of course.
Surprise. Valkyrie looks amazing.
Valkyrie
She
looks
really does.
very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And very Kirby-esque villains there. I'm very excited about
Well,
that.
hey, we're doing Asgard. It may
Yeah.
as well be as Kirby
Yeah,
as hell.
throw as much Kirby at it as we can. It's going to be
I'm
great.
excited for
I love
Valkyrie.
it.
I'm excited for Loki. I'm excited for Hela. I'm excited for, God, all of this. This movie is probably going to, I mean, we just saw Spider-Man earlier this month, but like, I think that this might be my new favorite superhero movie.
Well,
like,
okay, so are we more excited about Thor Ragnarok or Black Panther? Or
I'm
potentially
more
at
excited
least
about
Justice League?
Ragnarok, but I'm like Black Panther has a close second out of everything.
like, okay, here's
in
the
my
thing.
heart,
Okay,
so-
here's
I think you might be saying exactly what I'm about to say. Go for it.
Okay, what I was gonna say is that so Black Panther's coming out next February, right?
Yep.
I think that Thor's gonna come out. We're gonna be like, no, this is our favorite one, and nothing can ever top this. Black Panther's gonna come out. And we're gonna be like, how have we been fools for so long?
We were very close.
Okay.
I was going to say I think that Black Panther is probably going to be a better movie. I think I'm going to like Thor more.
That's fair. No, I don't know. I think that Black Panther is gonna just absolutely knock our socks off, and we're gonna walk out going, okay, but no, this was the best
Yes,
one,
yes.
right?
So what do we think of SDCC in general? I mean, we've watched, as we said, fewer than half of all the trailers that
Yeah.
were released. I guess we should do a round table. Was there anything that came out that we haven't discussed here that struck you? Anything that caught your
No, I
attention?
think that we talked
Yeah,
about everything
not
that
really.
I wanted to talk
There
about.
was a few good trailers that I'm not actually that interested in that we didn't
Mm-hmm.
talk about, like Kingsman. I've never watched any of those, but the trailers always kind of
The
intrigued
first
me.
movie was fun.
but-
I mean, it was cute.
I saw the trailer for the
I mean, I
first
say
one.
cute. There's definitely like a giant massacre within a church, but anyway.
I saw the trailer for the first one and was like, okay, I see what you're doing. And then I saw the trailer for the second and thought, okay, I see what you're doing. And the trailer for the third has continued the run of trailers, which I'm appreciative of,
Right,
but
right.
I probably won't ever see those movies.
There was a bunch of secret footage that we're not going to really dive into, even though you
Oh,
can
we should
look
definitely
up.
talk about
some,
this. Captain
Yes.
Marvel and
That-
Infinity War.
Here's the
along with
thing.
a few
Okay,
other
so
things.
we don't recommend this, but you can find cell phone footage of.
Here's the thing. Sarah's saying that from a legal perspective.
Yes.
I'm saying it from an aesthetic perspective.
Right,
Don't
exactly.
go looking for the Captain Marvel
Aesthetically,
footage.
it's
Well,
terrible.
definitely don't
It's
get Captain
garbage.
Marvel because
Yeah.
all you see are like bright lights. You cannot hear the dialogue at
No.
all. You can at least for Infinity War
I'm
hear the
waiting for
dialogue
it. I don't
and
wanna
get
see it.
some of the stuff. That's I mean, I watched both. All right,
I've
Here's
read the
situation.
description.
Legally,
Yeah, and so that
don't
was
do
good.
it. Cover your asses.
I don't think you're in any danger of legal
I didn't put the
consequence if
video
you're
up
watching a
there.
YouTube video. I
Yeah.
mean, Marvel is slapping, takedown requests left and right on all of
Sure,
the footage
sure.
that is leaked out of Hall
Sure.
H. I don't actually appreciate that. I think that's kind of garbage.
I think that we should
don't
be able to see that.
like this idea that content like this is released exclusively in the
No.
hope that the exclusivity of the content means a more positive reaction from
Because
critics
all it
and
means is
responses
that somebody is going
online.
to record it on their iPhone and then put it
It
on
absolutely
YouTube
does.
Yeah.
in literally 2 minutes.
I do understand
Literally.
having exclusives for people to actually go to Comic-Con, but those things are like in action figure sales and posters and signatures. Those are things that they get that none of us get. They don't need media content that we don't get to see until weeks later. Just release it. Like, sure, release it a day or
Wait, can
two
you
early,
scroll
but
it
not
down
later.
really quick?
I sure can. What are we looking at here?
What is this? Avengers Infinity War feature?
Well, now we're just watching YouTube in a
Trailer
podcast.
extended.
This is what we're doing.
This is
This-
not what we want, I don't think. Never mind. No, cancel this.
Oh, no, this is okay. So this was released 5 months ago. This is actually the first look at Avengers Infinity War.
Oh, okay.
It's all
Is this where
prequel
we
material.
see
It's
like
backstage
Robert Downey
material.
Jr. standing with Tom Holland and,
And,
Chris Pratt,
Chris
and he
Pratt.
goes Peter, and they're both like, yeah.
And it's the cutest thing that
Yes.
you've ever seen in your
Yes.
life. Yes.
Yeah.
And Tom Holland confirms that he is a sweet cinnamon roll. Yes.
Yep. So
it's
we're
pretty amazing.
We are going to see Spider-Man doing a lot in this film, I think. So
In the
far
new
from what we've
Iron
been teased.
Spider suit that we saw at the
Yep.
end of Homecoming, which
And
is really exciting.
I saw some footage from someone's Instagram where they were filming them recording the CGI being worked on, and they were showing Doctor Strange and Spider-Man fighting like right next to each other, and it looked really cool.
Yeah.
There does seem to be some speculation that New York is going to come under attack again, because I guess that's what happens.
Is this the new Battle of New York? Like, what are we talking, like the devastation of New York?
It's going to be really interesting.
They are going to show Spidey's Spidey sense, so that's good. I appreciate
we saw
that.
like the little hairs come up on his arms. We get a bearded Cap.
Bearded Cap.
Here's the thing about Cap's beard. First of all, it's dark and full of secrets. I want to curl up and take a nap there. Secondly, the really interesting thing that we see is that he's wearing his Winter Soldier outfit, but he has stripped the Avengers patch and also like the star patch from both shoulders, which honestly would be more interesting if I didn't already see that happen at the end of Civil War when he rips the Avengers patch off of his shoulder. Like, he did that a while ago.
I like the consistency of that. Well, this is interesting because we're not at all sure where this happens. It seems as though Infinity War is actually going to crash into both Black Panther and Thor Ragnarok. There are some suggestions out there that these stories are basically happening at the same time, and they are happening days before the Infinity War, which might suggest a shuffling of the Marvel timeline here, which is exactly what we talked about when we discussed Spider-Man Homecoming. Pushing that forward to 2020 makes a lot of sense if that's when this story is going to end, and it all happens in a very brief period of time. Hey, you guys, Marvel might know what they're doing. Kevin Feige specifically might know what he's doing.
I trust
him. He wrote everything out. He had
Marcus and McFeely and Kevin Feige.
They know what's up. We get blonde Natasha, which I'm into. Whatever, Scarlett Johansson is beautiful, no matter what her hair color is. But let's talk about how fucking goofy Thanos looks without his friggin' helmet.
Yeah, he looks great with the helmet. Why would you take it off?
Why would you take it off? He looks goofy as hell, and I cannot take him seriously.
CGI that right back on, thank you.
Your weird, like, layer chin.
No, that's good. I like the layer chin. I'm in with the layer chin.
Always gonna look weird. It is a mistake. It is a mistake.
It is a billion mistakes. Every mistake.
I'm looking forward to seeing Thanos photoshopped with a variety of different hats. I want to see bowler Thanos. I want to see fedora Thanos. I want to see beret Thanos.
I want him wearing Captain America's mask.
Yes, that's the thing I definitely want to see.
With Donald Trump hair.
There you go.
Oh no! Oh wait!
It's all coming together.
Yes. Oh god!
One of the interesting shots that you can see if you look at the early release material for Infinity War, the first look material that we were just discussing, which was released, I guess, 5 months ago, something like that, is that you see the recovery of the Infinity Gauntlet, which we have seen before in the MCU.
Yes.
It was in Odin's vault on Asgard.
Yeah, just hanging out there.
Is this going to be a bit in Thor Ragnarok?
It has to be, right?
Because if we're seeing the absolute destruction of Asgard.
Yes. Oh, that's like the after credits scene. That you go back to Asgard, it's in rubble, and Thanos is just like walking through the rubble picks up the gauntlet, smiles at the camera, and credit. Like,
Nathan had a really interesting question also. Yeah. Nathan was wondering if Hela, as the goddess...
Who's Nathan, for those listeners who have not yet caught up?
My sweet, beautiful, wonderful husband, who is a DC fanboy, God rest his soul. There's nothing wrong with DC, except that Marvel's better. Anyway, my husband had a really interesting question. He was wondering if Hela, as the goddess of death in Norse mythology, is the death that Thanos has been courting.
Could be.
Did she? Is she going to Asgard to take the Infinity Gauntlet for Thanos?
Well, that would be an interesting inversion. In the comic books, Thanos is wooing the goddess of death, and he creates the Infinity Gauntlet and gets the Infinity Gems in order to kill 1/2 of the universe's population. 1/2 of all the things living in the universe.
Why would you give your girlfriend that much work?
It's work as much as it's, trinkets. Hey, here's
like
Speedy.
Literally a fulfillion souls.
A fulfillion
Half
souls
a
for you.
fulfillion souls for you.
And each one is shiny. It's
like the fucking paperwork she's gonna do on that.
A bouquet of dead people.
Every bouquet.
It is interesting though that we get, particularly in the Thor Ragnarok trailer, where we get this emphasis from Hela. I am the goddess of death.
Yes.
That's an interesting association. I don't know if we're going to connect Thor Ragnarok that closely to Infinity War.
It would be really interesting.
I kind of hope that we do.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Or
really
that's
great.
part of the after credits footage too, is like her laying down, like dying on the ground after some big battle, and Thanos comes in and steps on her skull and says, "You are no goddess of death."
That would also be cool.
That would be an interesting perspective.
We're still missing a gem, right? I know that we talked about this before.
Yeah.
In fact, I think we talked about it the last time we talked about the Thor
We're missing
trailer.
the time gem, which is fascinating because this gives us our potential hook into the adventures of Captain Marvel. It has been confirmed that Captain Marvel, played by Brie Larson, who looks amazing.
Fantastic.
Amazing. That this entire movie is going to take place in the 1990s.
Right. Which is great. I love it.
No, sure. But we have established established that Tony is our first superhero within the MCU.
I'm not sure that we've completely established that because Cap was a superhero.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that was like a million years ago.
But if Captain Marvel isn't a hero in the Iron Man sense, isn't a hero in the Spider-Man sense, but is a military officer, if Captain continues to be a military rank for her, as it was for Captain America, and as it has been for Carol Danvers in many of the comics, then we can see a kind of continuity of that idea that she's basically a super soldier. She's a Kree-powered super soldier, as opposed to a Dr. Erskine-powered super soldier.
And Nick Fury laughed at that idea. You think you're the first superhero when he joined, talked about the Avengers. With Tony
that's
Stark.
true.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't remember that. So that's okay.
If I remember
left
correctly.
the door open, but what's most interesting is we're not going to have a Captain Marvel movie that's set in the 1990s and then bring her into the MCU without some kind of temporal shenanigans.
Well, that's not true because in the comics, Captain Marvel doesn't age like everyone else because of her powers
does she
as well.
Is she going to be our Diana?
So she can actually do that then.
Working in the Louvre?
Yeah, she can actually. My thought on it is that she is in this movie going to be, because she's fighting the Skrulls, which is great. We thought that Fox owned the Skrulls. Turns out they own specific Skrulls, not the race as a whole. And so Marvel can use the race, not just specific Skrulls.
Again,
Skrulls?
Somewhere in New York, there was a fantastic legal meeting over that.
Where someone had to say these words.
Skrulls,
Someone's lawyer had to say these words.
Skrulls are shape-shifting aliens who were introduced in the first issue of Fantastic Four.
I think that's true.
I guess not the first, because that's where they get their
somewhere
powers. But it's very early in the Fantastic Four. They have hung around the Marvel
They're
universe
separate from
forever.
the Kree, though, right? Those are two
Well,
different things.
the Kree-Skrull War was one of the definitive events in the Avengers series. That is one of the events that made the Avengers the title that it is now. The Avengers was pretty much a B-tier team book for a long, long time. But, this is back in the 70s. This is a long, long time ago.
This is something I cannot possibly conceive of.
Well, because Captain America wasn't a big hit and Iron Man wasn't a big hit. And they were all kind of subservient to, I mean, I guess by the late 70s, we're coming up to the rise of the X-Men and kind of more troubled heroes. But
man, it's so weird to me to just, I mean, even think like as far as like actual reality goes, it's so strange to think of a world in which like the Avengers were not the biggest superhero team on the planet.
The Avengers have almost never been the biggest superhero team on the planet.
That is
in
wild
comic books.
Even in Marvel Comics, Avengers were way second class to the X-Men up until the movies.
Yeah.
That's so insane.
For most of Marvel's existence, it has been the Fantastic Four, it has been the X-Men, and it has been Spider-Man, and everyone else is a long way back.
And you can just see how movies change everything.
Wow.
I mean, movies are the reason that we're now paying any attention to the Inhumans whatsoever.
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
Again, another legal meeting happening somewhere in New York. So Captain Marvel is going to be set in the 1990s. It is interesting. You're right, Vinton, that she doesn't age, so she may just be able to come in. I like the idea that she's going to be involved somehow in the Time Jam. I like the idea that she's going to come in on the Guardians cosmic side of the MCU.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Here's my idea, actually, is that because she's fighting the Skrulls, that she's going to start off, just fighter pilot Carol, and then she's going to get the powers in the movie, and she's going to go to space and fight the Skrulls, however that works out, and she's going to be lost out in space somewhere and come back for Infinity War and be like, I'm finally back home with Earth.
I would love if she was in one of our post-credit sequences of Thor Ragnarok. It'll be really interesting to see.
I don't know if she will be, because she's definitely, they've confirmed that she won't be in Infinity War, the first Avengers, but I think I've heard that she's going to be in the second one, but they confirmed she's not going to be in the first one. So it'll be interesting to see. They could still tease it in the Ragnarok. I think they definitely have to tease it in Infinity Wars, right? They have to at least mention it in the post credits. I don't know.
So to give this conversation some context here, let's run through the release dates. Thor Ragnarok is coming out in November of this year. Black Panther is coming out in February of next year. The first Infinity War movie, Infinity War Part 1, as was, now just Infinity War, is coming out in May of next year.
That's
Ant-Man,
so soon. Oh my God, that's
really soon.
so soon.
Less than a year from now.
Lily's 13th birthday. We will go and see that movie.
Yes.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is coming out in July of next year. Then Captain Marvel is coming out in March of 2019, followed by the second Avengers Infinity War movie coming out in May of 2019. It is almost certain that Captain Marvel is going to be a bridge between the two halves of the Infinity War.
Do you see here that both of the screenwriters for Captain Marvel are women? That's super exciting.
I had noticed that.
And
Nicole
one of the
Perlman and Meg
directors
LaFave.
is.
That's excellent. Great. This is a great list right here.
This is a good list.
This is a very good list. Taika Waititi directing Thor Ragnarok. Ryan Coogler directing Black Panther. He's a very interesting director and also co-wrote the script. We've got the Russo brothers coming back for both Infinity Wars along with Marcus and McFeely. Peyton Reed is directing Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm interested. I've got to tell you, interested.
Do you hear that on God,
Paul Rudd has a co-writing credit.
Is a co-writing credit.
Yep.
He's pretty great with his improv, so we'll see how that goes. That is worth mentioning that there was also Ant-Man and the Wasp footage released at SDCC in their secret Hall H footage. There was more Thor Ragnarok where we got to see how he ended up captured by the Grand Master. There was, of course, as we already mentioned, the more Black Panther footage, and there was Aquaman footage, which would have been interesting. So when those things come out, we might be mentioning this. Oh, there was also a Punisher trailer for Netflix, which I heard was very good, and I'm excited about because Punisher was maybe my favorite thing about Daredevil season 2. I liked him more than I liked Daredevil, so it was very interesting.
I'm interested in that very, very much. Yeah. We also have 2 other Marvel movies on the slate for the future. We have an as yet untitled Spider-Man Homecoming sequel, and we have an as yet
Spider-Man
untitled
Graduation.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's probably just going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I guess. But
Spider-Man
we don't have
Prom Night.
I guess the Spider-Man sequel has been dated to July 5th, 2019. So to recap, we're going to get Captain Marvel in March of 2019, the second Infinity War movie in May of 2019, and then Spider-Man Homecoming 2 in July of 2019.
That's really helpful, though, because that at least tells me that they're not going to kill off my sweet, precious Tom Holland.
We don't know that for sure. Miles Morales coming soon.
Oh,
Spider-Man
shit!
Homecoming 2.
Also, one of the things I'm really excited about them introducing Captain Marvel in the 90s is this really opens the door for Kamala Khan to be introduced because now she's been around. So if she doesn't end up being out in space and unknown, then she could be known and could have child fans, especially after this point, because they've talked about after these movies that we've already listed, they're going to be doing something with the Marvel Universe where they introduce some newer heroes and kind of retire some of the older ones.
Basically
and Spider-Man's going to be leading that.
We're going to get a new Avengers.
Parade,
we're going to get a young Avengers. We're going to get some kind of new team that is, younger.
Okay, all right, this will be fun. If they did like a new Avengers being headed by Spider-Man, who would you want on that team?
Well, I'm not sure that I want the new Avengers to be headed by Spider-Man, honestly. I like Spider-Man so much as a solo hero. I've never been as much a fan of Peter in the context of the Avengers as I have in the context of his solo career. But Miles Morales, Kamala Khan, Patsy Walker?
God, that would be very good,
cool.
though.
But I feel like they can't. I want them to give her a Netflix series. Give her a Netflix series.
Yes, no, give me the Trish Walker Netflix series.
Okay, the Trish Walker Netflix series I definitely want, but we could do a different version of Hellcat.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. Probably not. I don't know. Can you put Kate Love
I
in charge
definitely
of that?
need some kind of mixture of the Young Avengers and the Champions. I need Miles Morales. I need Sam Alexander Nova.
Yeah.
I need Vision's daughter.
Yes,
I need that to be a
very
thing
good.
in the movies.
Which, I mean,
That would be
okay,
amazing.
listen, in some of the promo material, we've been seeing like how close Wanda and Vision are. I'm super, there's also been pictures of just Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen making out, and so I'm very stoked about that. It's going to be very, very good.
I also need Wiccan and Hulkling. Wiccan is the son of Scarlet Witch, and those two are in a relationship together, and they're fantastic. I love them. And Hulkling, despite his name,
do you care about Speed at all? Do you care about Billy?
I don't care really about Billy.
He's just like his
much.
uncle.
Yeah, but Hulkling is. Despite what his name is, his power is actually that he can transform into other things.
He's like part Kree or did
and
something
he's
something
like
with Kree.
The King Warrior of something. I haven't read a lot of where that actually went, but I've read up to that part.
I only read Children's Crusade, which is how I got introduced to the Young Avengers, and also that weird storyline where Wanda almost married Dr. Doom, which is one of the reasons
Young
why...
Avengers is something that we will definitely have to cover at some point because that first volume is amazing. It introduces all these people, including Kate Bishop, and introduces Kate Bishop. Gives us her origin story in that first volume, so we'll definitely need to cover it at some point.
It is interesting to consider what is going to happen to the Marvel Universe post Phase 3. Infinity War Episode 2 is going to be the end of that cycle. So that,
wild.
I can't imagine. Those movies come out in 2019. I can't imagine that we're going to get Robert Downey Jr. playing Tony Stark for much longer. I can't imagine even that we're going to get Chris Evans playing Cap for much longer.
God, he's been doing it for at that point it'll have been almost 10 years.
Yeah, that's a long time to be playing the same part. And the MCU is, just so financially lucrative that they're definitely going to continue it. So they need to start bringing in new heroes.
Right. Yeah. We've definitely, it's a lot easier whenever you're doing comic books where you just get to keep drawing the same people over and over again. But real life actors age. So
yeah.
Interesting stuff. We might even get, I forget her name, Riri Ironheart.
Oh yeah,
Riri Williams.
Yeah.
She's Riri or Rai?
I think I always say Riri, and I don't know if that's true, but it's Riri.
Is that short for anything?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not that they've mentioned to my memory, which is
I
great.
like her very much.
She's
if you guys
fantastic.
haven't seen her,
She's
she
great.
is basically the new 15-year-old Iron Man.
Let's bring in
She's
Riri
great.
Williams. Let's bring in Nadia Pym. Let's bring in
good idea,
Lunella
yeah.
Lafayette. Let's bring in all these girls.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I would love every bit of that. I would also really love if they do what they're doing in the comics right now, which slight spoilers, but they've been doing it for like a year and a half, so not really, which is that Tony Stark died and he introduced his mind, like recorded his mind into his AI. So he is Ryrie Williams' AI, and he just like hangs out with her holographic form and like teaches her and like goofs off with her and makes her really upset and annoyed. It's fantastic. It's a great chemistry.
What I would really like is a friggin' decent like Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, it's not
I would love
apparently
that.
They announced
only because I have a very weird affection for Doctor Doom.
Apparently they announced that they're doing a Doctor Doom film.
Okay, I'm in.
And it's going to be made by the guy who's making Legion, which got me excited because I love Legion.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Otherwise, I would not have cared. I would be like, well, you're just going to drop the ball with that too. And I don't know why you're focusing on Doom and not the Fantastic Four, except for you've dropped the ball too many times.
Yeah.
But when the creator of Legion says, I'm currently going to be working on the Doctor Doom film, I listen.
I mean, that is interesting. They have pretty much salted the earth for the Fantastic Four right now. I wonder how much those rights are selling for right now. I wonder if Marvel could just buy, $25.
I know Kevin Feige has basically said, we're uninterested at this point in making any more deals like we did with Spider-Man. We don't care.
Oh.
But I feel
Which
like
I think just goes to show how much they care about Spider-Man
and I feel like
being a part
if
of
they
it.
said that just a few more times, then Fox would just be like, $5? $4?
$5?
Come on.
Can we please just take this from us?
We don't want anymore.
Want it. Okay, well, we've gotten we've like way off the refuge here. We just went completely wild with some of these theories and thoughts and things like that. But this was welcome to the Trailerpalooza. This is probably going to be a yearly thing if this show
I guess it's going to be
for a long time.
Yeah, especially since right before this we have like the big Disney Expo, and so that released some things. So maybe next year we can talk a bit about that since they own so much of Marvel that they released a bunch of stuff there. So you never know. We should be doing this once a year. It'd be fun.
I like this very much.
What are we doing next week?
Next week we are doing Paper Girls, which is a comic book created by Brian K. Vaughan. And who is the artist on that?
Cliff Chang is the artist
that's
on the first volume of Paper Girls. We, of course, have talked about Brian K. Vaughan's work before when we talked about a little comic book called Saga.
Yes.
Yeah, this comic book, however, is basically if you like Stranger Things and you like comic books, this is the comic book for you. Because this is kind of like the comic book version of Stranger Things. It's very much so 80s nostalgia, feels like a Spielberg film, even in the way it's colored and the way the art works. Gives me nostalgic feelings. Like the sun's always just setting. And
that's
people
awesome.
are like riding their bikes. It's about these girls who deliver papers and just them living their lives. And then something like maybe aliens attack.
Ooh.
And so they have to deal with that.
It is very Spielberg. I like that reference a lot. Yeah.
This book has been sitting on my shelf for months, so I'm so excited to finally like grab it and read it and like go through. So that'll be really, really exciting for next week. And I think that's gonna do it for us this time around. Yeah, thank you guys so much. If you like the show, if you enjoy what we do, if you want to support us and help us do more stuff like this, head on over to patreon.com/commonroomradio, where you can kick us $1 a month or whatever you can afford. You can talk to us over on Twitter at Excelsior Cast. You can talk to me at Elsa Grab the Salt.
I'm at Paper Bullets.
And I'm at Flesh Eater.
And I think that's it, right?
That'll do it. Yeah. Go pledge your support over on Patreon, you guys, because if you pledge enough support over on Patreon, we'll all go to SDCC next year.
Holy shit.
We're not proud. We'll do that thing. I mean, it will need to be a lot of support.
It will be a lot of
I'll tweet from there. I'll do live videos from there.
Listen,
we'll get a mobile broadcast rig. It'll be fantastic. And we will high five Stan Lee for you on your behalf, dear listeners of Excelsior.
Yes.
We will high five that old man very gently.
It has to be Vinton.
Oh, it absolutely has to be Vinton.
Okay. Send Vinton to San Diego Comic-Con next year.
Patreon.com/commonroomradio.
I'm very excited.
Anyway, that's going to do it for us this week. So once again, from Common Room Radio, I'm Sarah K. Bazant.
I'm Alistair Stevens.
And I'm Vinton Bain. And you and I had a fight.
Did I win?
No, I won. Easily.
That doesn't sound right.
Well, it's true.
Excelsior!